Hey guys, it's Roscoe, and on Space Cat Show we're going to be looking at Jyn Erso's Tale of Valor from On the Front Lines. So here we go. Here is a very nice image. This is obviously them boarding the U-wing. You see her there. There it's Cassian. I assume that's the others in the background. Let me just see. You can't make out the others specifically, but it's just the resistance troops, rebellion troopers. So here's what it says. Jyn Erso's tenure with the Rebel Alliance can be measured in days, yet her impact will be felt for generations. The daughter of an Imperial weaponsmith, Erso found herself on the run at the age of 8 after Orson Krennic of the Empire's Research Division forced her father back into service. To survive, she joined Saw Gerrera and his brutal insurgents. She eventually split from Gerrera and cycled through a string of disposable identities, and that's what we see in the novel about her as well, whose name I can't remember at the moment. Populating a database with criminal offences. While imprisoned at an Imperial labour colony, the Alliance commandos who sprung her gave her a conditional offer of freedom. Under Operation Fracture, Erso would leverage her status as Dr. Jyn Erso's daughter while calling in favours from Saw Gerrera's outlaws. It was an ultimatum that forced Erso to revisit her long-faded emotional bonds, and I thought it did that very well in that sequence where she sees her father's hologram while the Death Star's firing on Jeddah. Erso succeeded in securing the intelligence from Gerrera, but her conscience led her to an Imperial work camp on Eadu in an attempt to free her father. Interesting, it's now called an Imperial work camp. It was a Kyber research facility previously. Maybe that's a slight discrepancy in the canon, I don't know. I've noticed a couple of little things like that in this book. Now, convinced that Dr. Erso's death would rob the Empire of a critical asset, the Alliance chose to level the facility and called in a bombing raid. Jyn Erso died in his daughter's arms. Though Jyn Erso had justification to turn her back on the rebellion, she instead tried to convince the Rebel Council to back an all-out strike on Scarif to retrieve the Death Star plans and find the fatal flaw her father had engineered into its design. The Council refused. Defiantly, Jyn Erso recruited her own team. Those who pledged themselves to the Rogue One mission were full of hope, and in Jyn Erso, they saw a leader who acted with conviction. We'll take the next chance, and the next, and the next, until the chances are spent, or until we win. Had it not been for Erso's brash gamble, the Death Star's weakness would have gone undetected, and the rebels would have lost the Battle of Yavin. And that's certainly what Iden Versio expected was going to happen in the beginning of the Battlefront 2 novel. Jyn Erso's death is a tragedy. The galaxy will never know how she might have shaped the rebellion in the years that followed. So, in the upcoming Star Wars main series comics, Luke Skywalker, Han and Leia, they're going to be going to Jeddah, to the remains of the Holy City, the big hole in the ground, and they're going to find out, I believe, about the Rogue One guys and the impact they had, that it was their sacrifice that allowed Luke to take the shot on the Death Star. And obviously Leia was at Scarif, you know, on board the Tantive 4, as she saw the Death Star being fired, and obviously she knew that Jyn Erso existed. I think in the Rogue One graphic novelization, there's a scene with Bail Organa arguing with Saw Gerrera across the table, but each of them have their daughters with them, so they would have been aware of the other's existence at least. But yes, that's just a look at Jyn Erso. I thought was a terrific character. It's such a shame it was just a one-off, but that was the nature of Rogue One, of course. It's essentially with Suicide Squad. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this content. Leave me a comment suggestion for a topic you'd like to see discussed, or like the video.